Disney's latest live-action film focuses on the origins of one of its most popular villains, Cruella De Vil. So Disney has been focusing on their live-action adaptations for a while now, and like many of you, these things are beginning to feel a little bit exhausting, with movies like Aladdin and Mulan both kind of being duds in my book. I have to say I was weary about Cruella, to say the least. However, right from the beginning, I knew I'd like this movie better than most of the recent live-action remakes. It opens with some pretty gorgeous cinematography that pretty much remains present throughout the entire film. I think it's not only one of the best shot live-action Disney films, I'd say it's one of the best looking films I've seen so far this year altogether, which completely caught me off guard because I was not expecting that coming from this film. I also think as far as origin stories go, this is one of the best written ones that are out there. We have a clear motive for why and how Cruella becomes who she is. The story does a great job of making you feel her struggle, and I'd even go as far as to say a lot of the film's subject matter is kind of dark when it comes to explaining that. The film's overall tone is mirrored by its aesthetic, as the color palette is pretty cloudy and dreary, creating this bleak tone which could ultimately be a metaphor for how the character views life. I don't think this really looks or feels like any Disney movie, except for the fact it does benefit from that good old Disney budget. The costumes and set designs are all done well, and some of the stunts Cruella is able to pull off are stunning to look at. I also think Emma Stone and Emma Thompson's performances were good, as well as the rest of the supporting cast. So I think this movie does a lot right. However, there are some issues that I did have. The biggest being this simply just doesn't feel like a Disney movie. It feels more like a standalone character study. I also really don't feel like Cruella is a villain at all in this, let alone one that we learn to hate as kids watching the 101 Dalmatians. Also, families thinking they're about to sit down and enjoy a fun family Disney film may be disappointed. I mentioned that the film has a pretty dark atmosphere, and some of that content may not be suitable for all children. The way I look at this is like this film is to 101 Dalmatians as to what Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is to the Batman cartoon. Obviously it's not as violent or dark, but it is a reimagining of a character that feels different than what you may expect. I also feel like the story does abandon logic at times as well. Characters don't put two and two together until the plot suggests that they do. With any other person, they would have already figured it out or figured out what was going on. Also, the poor Dalmatians. My god, the poor Dalmatians looked fucking bad in this movie with that CGI. Anyways, my feelings on this film are pretty simple. I went into it not thinking I was going to like it, and I ended up enjoying it quite a bit. I think the story is far from perfect, and it doesn't feel like a Disney film in the slightest, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, I haven't been a fan of the recent live-action Disney films, so the fact this felt a step removed from their traditional formula might have did the film justice. It looked great, it was competently acted, and the story offered a unique take on a popular villain, and for that, I give Cruella a low-end solid. Let me know what you guys thought about Cruella in the comments below. Matter of fact, what do you think of all of Disney's recent live-action films in general? And as always, I want to say thanks for sticking around. And if you want to see more movie reviews and movie-related content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Anyways, I've been Al, and I'll catch y'all later.